Links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar or the various other links. I have a mailbox if you want to mail me some comics. So Disney, Bob Iger promises that they're not sacrificing kids to Moloch as they sacrifice kids to Moloch. And if you ever thought that as a kid the future Disney would be doing interviews where they deny essentially grooming kids for Satan, that would have boggle the conscience. If you told people in the 80s and 90s when Disney was at its absolute peak that in a few decades the CEO would be sitting down to do an interview and denying their figurative blood rituals, nobody quite would have understood how a family-friendly company could have fallen this far into degeneracy. But, the thing is, all this public conversation about Disney is awesome because the more it's out before the public, the more awareness can be raised about satanic. Oh my God, just let people do what just let people enjoy things. No, I think that time has passed. We saw, they want you to not speak up about these things, to not have a social media footprint and talk about these things. That is no. Why wouldn't we speak out about these things? Don't you respect diversity of thought? Don't you want to hear all voices? Absolutely, get on social media and share your concerns about what these lizards at these companies are doing. So Disney does not want to be a traditional, family friendly type of company. That mask is completely off. It started, I don't know, a few years ago. I'm trying to remember the first BLT character that they put in the background. But of course they edited it out for China and the Middle East. Like, hey, can we get the edited version? Oh, you're so Islamophobic. So are the Chinese in the Middle East? Are they also? No, you understand. It's fine for them. But why isn't it fine for us? Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. So the thing is, you cannot be all things to all people. At one time, Disney would have fit in fine with the nuclear family, church, apple pie, baseball. There was, at one time, nothing in Disney against that. But now, Disney openly rejects that and embraces Moloch. They have different values from, trust us with your kids. I don't think so. They have different values from many Americans. Most Americans don't support the BLT stuff, especially where it concerns kids. People are awakening to this, and they're not on board with the, you got to tolerate this. No, I think the time for tolerance is also past. Some recent poll came out and they said 70% of the people who said they were against trans in girls' sports. And, that's like of the people who are aware of what's going on. I think there's a ton of people who probably have no idea. It's just they're tuning into stuff like Disney and they're watching these movies and like, the vibe is off. It's like it just doesn't feel organic anymore. So the thing is, the pendulum is definitely swinging back on this whole issue. Yes, BLT people exist, my guy. Yikes, touch grass and go outside and finger a woman and what all the stupid things they say. And it's like, you look at the people who are saying this and they're 200 pounds drinking Mountain Dew and telling you to go touch grass. And it's like, you haven't been outside in a week. You just sit on your computer. Like I'm looking at your Twitter history. It's like 100 tweets a day for these people to, we're owning the Chads on Twitter. It's like, yeah, I don't think you're calling people incels, and then you look at the people behind the profiles, and it's like a 250-pound cat lady. It's like, yeah, I think you're probably paying for sex. So the pendulum is definitely swinging back. Yes, we know most people are aware that BLT people exist, but those just aren't most people's values. They don't want to positively reinforce those beliefs by paying for these kind of movies that are pushing this kind of propaganda. So in 2015, when the whole trans fad became kind of popular, I remember Miley Cyrus came out, and that felt like an important point on the timeline when she came out and said, I'm like pan or like whatever. And so all the kids look at her and said, oh yeah, so are we. It's like, what does it mean? I don't know, but I want attention because I'm a teenager. It's like, yeah, we all went through this too. It's like, our fads were not quite so permanent. They were like putting pins on jackets and it's like that stuff came off, or maybe even piercings and tattoos, but it's like it didn't permanently deprive your ability to have kids. The thing is, back then people had a live and let live approach, but over the course of the next 7 years, the blue-haired mentally ill teachers were brainwashing kids who were telling parents that if they didn't give kids drugs and surgery to sterilize them, then the kids would self-delete. Thank God we have a transition closet. It's like you look at the guy who's pushing this kind of stuff, or the teachers who are pushing this stuff, and uh, let's check in your hard drive. No, these people should not be within. I was going to say 1,000 meters of kids, but let's say a planet of kids. Deport them to one of the moons of Jupiter. So, except that the kids didn't think that they were the opposite sex 20 years ago. I mean, clearly this is a social contagion pushed by these bullshies to destroy society. What a hyperbolic statement. Looks around. Oh, I guess that's exactly what's going on. So Iger says that they're just there to tell great stories, but for us, those are mostly straight Christian-based stories. Even if we're not Christian, there's still a positive feeling for parables that are based in some, the history of European stories or Christian stories. In fact, like where Disney got a lot of their stories are going to be European folk tales that are based in parables that are teaching life lessons or coming from Christian stories who are teaching some lesson. It's like, so what they've done is removed everything that mattered, and they're just giving you this plastic surface level approach, and it's crap. You feel it's like what was that? Was it not the Pirates of the Caribbean? That the other Pirates movie where they replaced all the, it was supposed to be a bunch of English boys, the Lost Boys. They go off to that island, Peter Pan or something, and I almost said going to Narnia. They're redoing Narnia. That's the next video. That's going to be in I guess it was the last video. And the Peter Pan, it's like, yeah, you swapped out everyone. You swapped out the English kids, and it's not the Lost Boys anymore. It's the Lost Girls. It's like nothing makes sense. This isn't, oh, well, diversity. Yeah, most people think that's cancer. Oh, well, they're istophobic. That word doesn't mean anything. You call everyone that. Even Shoe on Head the other day on Twitter was making fun of people they're calling so many people istophobic, and then Fuentes goes on some Fresh and Fit podcast and just making some reasonable comments, but to left wing, it was like, they couldn't believe it. So they're calling him, Hugo Boss, and she's pointing out like, yeah, but you call everyone that. So when it gets to the point where there might be some validity to that claim, it's like you just keep crying wolf to everyone. You call literally everyone who disagrees with you is Hugo Boss. Like, they are Hugo Boss. Is it in the room with you now? Is it under your bed? It's like, is 90% of America, is that what you really believe? Because, hey, amen, by all means, let's just separate. Let's give you your own little state. And you want to turn it into some Bolshevik Wakanda, by all means. It would turn into Chaz meets the Liberia in like a week, probably. Honestly, a month you'd see smoke on the horizon if you took Oregon and gave it to them and like walled it in. And in 6 months there'd be cannibalism. Like, oh no, you understand. It's cannibalism's actually good. Anyway, so they want to tell, we're just eating the records of progress and the wrong thinkers. So they want to tell stories for a diverse audience. Okay, tell stories for a Christian audience with Christian themes. Of course, they don't do this because they're not Christians, but they also hate Christians. Like, you cannot tolerate Christians. They hate them with an incandescent genocidal passion. Nobody believes they're horse pucky. Most of their audience, if given the option to tell a story with gay characters or one with straight Christians who teach the kids life lessons, parables from the New Testament or whatever, they would absolutely reject the BLT stuff and go with just a story more out of the 1950s. The audience is not into BLT characters. They openly reject it. So Disney is not serving the needs of the audience, which is the customer. Like, always keep that in. Yeah, I don't like the looks of you guys. Always keep that in mind. And they got rid of Chapek. It's like, it doesn't matter. Maybe he was going in slightly more the wrong direction, but Iger's going in that slightly less of the wrong direction. That's still a wrong direction. So the audience just isn't into this. The customer, the buyer-seller relationship, the people who are funding Disney to the tune of billions of dollars. And if Disney didn't have old IP money coming in, they would be out of business already. The thing is, they openly reject it. So Disney's not serving the needs because they put these BLT themes in every story now, or themes of rejecting the family. What was that Panda movie? What was it called? It was set in Canada or something. Or anti-white racism, anti-Christian, Christophobia, anti-nationalism, like all things that most people are, no matter what Chuck Schumer came out and did this little spiel about nationalism, and you look at me like, yeah, but you're just lying. The things you're saying are not true. And these idiots on the left and the idiots in the media are just believe you. It's like, you're lying to the people, Schumer. Anyway, Disney is woke, and it's costing them money in their films, and it's flowing over into their theme parks, which is actually a little bit surprising. Some people are calling it because I thought bread and circuses and the theme parks. I thought people would separate the movies from the theme parks and go to the theme parks to just enjoy the distraction. I guess if you live in Florida or something, like if you don't live in Florida or Southern California, that's really really not worth the trip. I mean, because otherwise the expenses of it add up. It's just you look at the money you'd spend on it. You're like, you could like rent an RV for a week and go have a great time camping and hiking around for the money you'd spend on a weekend at Disney or something. It's insane. Anyway, so people are calling it the Elon Musk effect because since he bought Twitter, it allows the freedom for right of center voices to express their concerns about the filth and degeneracy of these woke corporations like Disney, Anheuser-Busch, Target, and what are other companies that come out there. These companies are not motivated by money. Just please get that idea out of your head. This is a Bolshevik cult of lizard people. Yes, Disney got involved in the Florida bill to stop. Oh, yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah, what percentage of America is on board with this? 5%. So then why is it in your movie? Because F you, that's why. That doesn't make sense from a business perspective. The only thing that explains this is some kind of billion-dollar religion. Like, that's so on the nose, it's touching the brain. So yeah, Disney was involved in the DeSantis thing, the Florida bill to stop teachers from grooming kids, but that was just icing on the cake. The woke films were enough to start people to understand Disney is not for families or Christians or people who are just not degenerate. Most people are not on board this brave new world order of sacrificing kids to Moloch by turning them into catamites for the pleasure of these demons in human costumes. At this point, I think the only thing that saves America is a fiery return to some super base version of Crusader Catholicism or something, because otherwise this train has no brakes. I mean, it's not a country anymore. It hasn't been a country in decades. It's a commercial zone. And in a commercial zone, there's no guiding morality. There's no core dogma. There's no nothing. It's like, well, the Constitution, it's just a piece of paper without the people who made it great. It's like ultimately it's just a piece of paper that they'll burn when the time comes. It's just a commercial zone run by companies like Disney and other companies. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, send me a comic book through the mail or join the channel here over at Subscribestar. The various other links. Thanks to everyone over there. Thanks for the comics, the pocket knives, and the flashlights, all the cool stuff that I cannot tell you how excited I am to get pocket knives. Like, you start a social media channel just to get free comics in the mail? Oh, absolutely. You're shilling for comics. Absolutely. What's the point of making videos if begging people for comics? You know what? It works. It works. If you tell people to sell you, hey, can you send me some graphic novels and some cool pocket knives? Eventually you will get comic books and graphic novels. Thanks, Vegan. And everyone else has been sending stuff. It's friggin' amazing. It's like, yes, you have to ask for things and you will get things. I very much appreciate them. I'm not some internet ethot who takes things for granted. I talk about the pocket knives I'm going to be talking about them forever because I was so tickled to get a cool little pocket knife in the mail, and comic books too. I got who's that guy? Eric July's new comic, and I got The Hobbit with Chuck Dixon. I mean, he didn't write it, but he rewrote it. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next episode.